Hi everyone, welcome back to the Property Finance Podcast, and we're here for part 4 of Day After Drawdown. So as you can see, things are looking a little bit different from part 1. So here with Ed, well, talk us through what has happened over the last 9 months, because this looks a hell of a lot different to what it did 9 months ago.
Thankfully. So we're in the pub now, so this is completely changed around. So this went back to brick. I think we did do a walk around, didn't we? With the demo
we did,
and bits and pieces. Yeah, so it's gone back to brick, completely redone, everything put back together. And it went on the market a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Something like that or so. Yeah, which was good.
And how quickly did it sell?
Sold in 6 days, which was cool. We had an open day. I think it was like 7 people booked to come in. And even after that, people were trying to get booked in afterwards. But yeah, sold in 6 days, just above asking price as well, which was good. Which takes the pressure off us a little bit, if I'm being brutally honest, because obviously going to get knocked down off our loan while we're finishing off with the new builds.
Yeah. And in terms of where you're at, I mean, first off, we say it's all within 6 days, but actually, realistically, it was because it went on the market. She put the open date for the weekend and it sold on the open day.
So it for 6 days. Yeah.
It was one of them where actually it would have sold quicker had viewings could have happened quicker, I suppose.
Potentially, yeah.
You mentioned about it coming off of, that's a good pivot point actually, you mentioned it coming off the dev loan. What does that then, because we're in the process of talking through your next plans, what is the next step for you now that this is done?
Yeah, so the thing is like this is pretty much wrapped up now. As long as the legal process goes through, which is always, can be a bit of a challenge at times, but as long as that carries on, then we'll be continuing on with the new builds. The first new build is going to be ready to go on the market in about 6 weeks or so.
Right. Okay.
So that'll carry on. And now it's about for us just lining up that next opportunity, the next development, which has been going on in the background for a few months now. It's been a bit of a strange market. There's not been that much stuff going on the market, and things that are on the market, they just don't stack.
No.
And you're having agents that are even telling us this, even when you're working out agents' numbers against their build costs, and the deal just breaks even, there's 0% profit. Things just don't stack at the moment. But we've managed to secure a couple of opportunities off market, which is going to be new builds again, but they're going to be more sort of like luxury homes, things like that, single dwellings. So as this is going through, that allows us then and gives other lenders more confidence that we're delivering on what we say we're going to deliver. Yeah. So we'll then start to look at financing the next deals.
And in terms of what's been the most frustrating thing about finding the next deal, because I know you've had a couple of wobbles of like worrying the next one wasn't going to turn up. So what's been the biggest frustration and worry for you during this period? Because everyone sort of sees you've come into this development. This development's gone really, really well. You just kind of naturally assume you're just going to roll on and smash it.
Yeah, I think when it comes to worries and wobbles, I think the big thing really is not becoming desperate. Yeah. You don't want to become a desperate buyer. I think that's one of the worst things you can do, and that's probably the thing that whenever I feel a bit of a worry and a wobble is I don't ever want to find myself in that position where I'm so desperate and we have nothing to go on to. Yeah. That it's almost like you're going for deals or you're starting to massage the numbers a little bit. Yeah. And you're going, just to get stuff to stack. Fortunately, we're in a position where we can work with clients and other bits and pieces, so we won't ever sit there with nothing to do. But I like to keep the ball rolling. I like to work with the investors, keep the investors' money rolling as well, have the lenders on side as well. So fortunately, we're not in that position, and we've got some stuff now going through legals, which is great. But it's really frustrating when it comes to, I think frustration comes a lot dealing with a lot of agents. Yeah. Some are good, but some just have no idea, and everybody thinks you're being the greedy developer. But the reality is if the numbers don't stack, the lenders aren't going to lend. And it's as simple as that.
And how have you found the monthly updates with the investors? Because obviously I've mentioned it on the previous ones, where you're one of the only people I've ever come across, I think, that do the monthly updates to the lenders as well. And how have you found the reception on those?
Yeah, good. I think for us it's just, we offer the monthly updates, and then every quarter people can come around the sites, have a look at stuff, got something tangible to actually touch and feel and see that things are going on. People want to make sure that if they're investing with someone, that their money is actually being used, and actually people are doing what they say they're going to do. So for us, it's been monthly updates. It's been nice for our investors because it's giving them the updates. They've seen the pub transform. Everybody's got quite excited by it. And then we put it on the market. We send the links to it as well, so they can see the marketing videos and bits and pieces. And then to be able to email them along with our lenders as well to say it's sold in 6 days. I think it just provides a bit of confidence for everyone that they're actually, that we're doing what we say we're going to do. So I think everybody's enjoyed that journey so far.
When the current market as well, where everyone's moaning all the time that everything's sticking and nothing's shifting and everything else, and then to be able to go, well, actually, we've sold this in 6 days is a massive testament probably to the quality of what you've created.
Yeah, and I think that plays in my mind a lot. I think when you come back worries and stuff, I think that is something that's always in the back of your mind, because no matter who you speak to, everybody's quick to talk about the negatives, the current market, the state of the economy, things like that. And I have to say that really, I've just heard it for so many years now.
Yeah.
I've heard everybody saying how bad the market is and things aren't selling and that. But I mean, touch wood, for us at the moment, things are selling. You know, like we had it on the last development that we did. Everybody's saying what a bad market is, and that sold within 3 weeks, and that was done to a cash buyer. And we had 2 open days, whereas no one's getting open days at the moment.
Yeah.
But I do think that's down to the market's really bad at the moment. But the market there's so many, chatting to the agent about this the other week, is that there's so many average standard properties on the market. Everybody's trying to sell, things aren't shifting. But there still seems to be a market for your more bespoke homes or your full renovations or the new builds that are done to a good standard.
Yeah.
I do think that is the way forward for us anyway, is about providing stuff at a good quality. We are probably investing and spending more on our finishing touches or our future proofing, which we talked about before. But at the moment, it's proven that it's worked, and it's actually allowing us to shift stuff in 6 days, which is in one of the worst markets I've known for a while at the moment. So I think that is our angle at the moment, is that we focus more on the bespoke, higher end finishing stuff. Doesn't mean the price tag is high end, but it means whatever we're doing is priced accordingly, but we're doing a higher end finish compared to our competitors.
Yeah. And what are some of those little things that you're putting in, some of the finishing touches, just to give people a bit of an idea?
So I think just in here, like we've built a bit of a bespoke media wall over there. We've done a bespoke headboard in the master bedroom, which is like a feature wall.
Yeah.
I think even just the way we're finishing stuff, we've done quite a few shelving units that we've built into place that have then got lights and stuff in them as well. We've designed that and built that in.
Yeah.
And this sounds true, but it's even little touches. I think we've touched this before, but we've got ducting that goes from the plant room up into the roof, over to the fuse board. So if anybody ever wants to upgrade their cables and stuff, they don't have to put up floorboards or make a mess. It goes straight in and over to the top. We've got speaker cables located throughout the downstairs of this property, and then the buyers will have a map, so then they know exactly where they are, so they can just grab them if they want to put them in, or they don't have to put them in. It's those little touches. They don't cost a lot, but I mean, I have done it before where we put all the speaker system in, which cost us, hundreds of pounds, if not near $1,000.
A lot of money, yeah.
And then I came in a couple of weeks after it sold, and the buyer had just ripped all the speaker system out, upgraded them with their own speakers, which is great. But from a developer's point of view, it was, do we need to spend money on that, or do we maybe need just to put the facilities in place? So
they can make the choice then, can't they?
People can make that choice. So there's those little touches in terms of what we're doing. And just go, I think, I give my wife some props for this as well. She's really good with her interior design. So going with the right colours.
Oh, the colour scheme's phenomenal,
the floor patterns and stuff like that. We are spending a little bit more on the type of floor or the floor patterns we're putting in, but I do think we're getting a return for that just from a sale.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I don't think I've seen quite such a nice kitchen in development before. I mean, I'm not even quite sure what colour these would come under. Not quite olive, but
I don't know either.
Sure.
I'll be honest with you.
No, that's why neither of us are interior designers.
She tells me what to put in and I build it. But but I do think it's that attention to detail that really matters. And I think people notice it.
Yeah.
People notice that. And it's the same with the new builds. We've got a development that's going on the market we're up against. And it's going on the market around August time, same time as what we'll be going on the market, which can be seen as a negative, but I know that's just standard big development estate.
Which is copy and paste, isn't it?
Which is copy and paste, which some people would be really nervous about, but I know the fact is we'll be pricing at a very similar price to them, but actually they'll be getting so much more of us. Ours are looking a little bit more bespoke. Yeah. We have things like triple glazing in ours. We sit there with the air source. We have more, probably have more solar on there. There'll be a nicer finish in terms of kitchens and stuff. Yeah. So ultimately what we're doing there is presenting to someone that they will probably look at ours and then they'll go over the road and look at the others and go,
it's
why would I not go with this one? Because it's the similar price and look at all these extras we're getting in there. And I think that's how we're trying to position ourselves on the market like this, so that we actually are beating our competitors and getting our loans and our investors pay back as quick as possible.
Well, the thing is, by selling a property within 6 days, let's say the legal process goes through at a decent pace, you're going to then look to pay down a good chunk of your development loan, almost half, I think, if not more than half. The amount of interest you're then going to save on that is going to be phenomenal. I mean, if we just put some really basic maths on it, if this took an extra 3 months to sell, it's 15 grand nearly in terms of cost. So by selling it quickly, you've saved yourself potentially 15 grand in the long run, plus you've opened up potentially financing avenues for further devs as well.
And also as well, there's always that angle. It's really important to position yourself in the right price range as well.
Yeah.
There's been so many people I know saying, oh, this, you put it too cheap, it sold too quick. But for me, we spend a lot of time pricing these.
Yeah.
And actually, during the purchase price of this, we have to obviously then do the predicted GDVs and stuff for the lenders.
Yeah.
This came in cock on a little bit more than what we predicted. But for me, it's about actually pricing at the right point that it gets enough interest and it sells. We actually got a little bit more than asking price for this, which is great in the current market. But actually, I would rather sell something at a fair price, at good quality, that gets it shifted quickly, than have it sitting on the market for an extra 3, 4, 5, 6 months because we're trying to be greedy and make that extra little bit of money. We want to get off our loans as quickly as possible.
Well, the thing is, you would have made an extra, 25 grand probably above what you've sold it for. But you probably would have then cost yourself 15 grand, like you said, in interest. So
and even I would have lost even more hair, which I don't know if that's possible. But the stress that would have bought me, there's always that little bit of anticipation, isn't it? You're a little bit angst, aren't you, before putting something on the market. And when it goes on there, you don't want something sitting there for 6 months.
Well, this is the thing. You've then got the risk. You've got security risk. You've then got potentially a property just sitting there for 6 months. I mean, going through the winter months potentially, you've then got the risk of burst pipes, all that sort of thing. Like, it's just a headache you don't need. You haven't got to then come and turn the boiler on every now and again to make sure everything's running properly. It's just a nightmare and a hassle you don't need.
Yeah. You want to get in and get out. You want to do a good job, sell something at a fair price, and then move on to the next thing. You don't want to be hanging on to developments.
Talking about the good stuff, have there been any issues since we last spoke? I mean, we obviously did the last one in the roof over next door.
We did,
They are now, pretty much built, I think. So they've done all right, to be fair. So are there any issues or anything you faced over the last couple of months across the whole site, not just here?
Okay, so not just the pub. So, going back to the pub, I think we talked about a few things, contingencies and stuff before, that uncovering things, but that's all good. That's fine. That's been dealt with. In terms of the new builds, everything we've talked about, there's only been one thing that's kind of hit us a little bit on that, is the connections.
Yeah.
So we got I feel we got stitched up a little bit with that. So we've done our pricing, everything was fine. We've then had our drawings. When we've had our contractors out, we've got pricing from an Anglo Water drawing for connecting the FAL, so the sewage. Everyone's priced to it, it's fine. Since then, after we've gone through and discovered it, that actually we did some more investigation, the Anglo Water drawing is wrong.
Yeah.
It's actually incorrect. So it means that rather than connecting a pipe into the road closest to the development, we now have to go to the other side of the road to connect in there. There's literally nothing we could have done about that. That's what contingency's for.
Yeah.
I mean, we even went to the extent of getting professional drawings done that even states where the pipe work is, and it's just completely wrong. And that's Anglo Water. That's just part and parcel. Sometimes their drawings are good, sometimes they're not so good. So that's probably the only sort of bad thing that's happened. But it hasn't delayed anything. No. It's not delayed the project in any way, because we've been working to get our connections in and utilities in so early on because of things like this.
Yeah.
So it's not delayed the process. It's just cost us a bit more money, which is added to the contingency slightly.
Yeah, which I suppose, like you said earlier, is exactly why contingency is there and why lenders insist on 7.5%, 10%, maybe even more on new build stuff, is purely for stuff like that. Literally you never could have imagined was going to come up.
Yeah, I think other than that, it's all going well. We're on schedule for that. Everything is on schedule in terms of time frame, and things shouldn't delay us too much now because we're wind and watertight. The weather's good, so it's not going to be bad weather at the moment. So just finishing landscapes and outside. Yeah. So we're pushing on well on that.
And in terms of, because a lot of the people listening to this, they would bring on a main contractor. You're doing it slightly differently in that you are the contractor. From your side of things, what benefit is there at the moment, looking at how quickly you've managed to work through everything and the pace at which you've gone and everything else? Would you say there's a benefit to people going down that route as opposed to trying to take on a contractor? It's a bit of a curveveball question.
It is curveball. This wasn't in the script. I think for us, it's a really good way of doing stuff, but I don't think it's for everyone. I think it works for us because we have our own in-house construction company, so that allows us. The pros are we fully manage our own timescales, programs, schedules. It's very, very low risk. Well, there's no risk in terms of getting stung with extras.
Yeah.
I know developers that use solely main contractors, but the schedules can overrun because there's not necessarily their priority that's getting done with the main contractor. They can also get stung with extras, and then those bills can get really big. I know developers that had to go to court over that and lost battles in terms of being stung with a £50,000-60,000 cost that's come out of nowhere, and ultimately sometimes unfairly lose that court case as well. So they're the negatives to the main contractor, whereas for us, because we're doing everything in house, the worst, if an extra comes in, it's because it's actually an extra, but because we're in control of the cost price, we're only putting it over to our development company at cost. So there's a saving there. It also allows us as well to take on developments that have smaller margins on. So if you've got a main contractor in, they're going to put their markup on their work, then you've still got to hit your profit margins to be able to then go to the lenders, whereas for us, it allows us to go, okay, here's a development, this is, what we'll do is go, this is what it's going to be cost price to do the development, but then actually what we're willing to do is we do a profit share at the end of it. So the construction company gets part of the profit, but then so does the development company as well, because the construction still needs to make a profit, but you're benefiting from that. So there's lots of pros and cons as well. The fact that as well we can zero VAT when we're doing new builds, so that helps with the cash flow perspective, whereas some main contractors might not do that, some will. I think there's lots of pros for us. The negative being though, if you were trying to take it on, if you, no disrespect, if you don't know what you're doing, it's all on you, and it could just fall apart. Plus, if you don't have actually like your individual trades that you can pull in, and you don't give them enough work, so they're not loyal to you, then your schedules are going to fall apart. So I think there's lots of positives, but I don't think everybody can do it.
And I think the other thing as well is that it looks like sunshine and roses, but actually, realistically, you are here all the time.
I had a lovely head of hair at one point before I started contracting.
The first video doesn't show full head of hair.
This is way before them. No, but ultimately that is the negative as well, is there's lots of moving parts. So I am here project managing, overseeing stuff. There'll be points
jumping on the tools as well.
There'll be points I'll be jumping on the tools if someone doesn't turn up to get stuff over. So there's lots of pros, but there is also lots of negatives to that as well. Whereas if you're going to go down the route of getting a main contractor in, you are pretty much step away from it. They're in control of the health and safety. You're not really liable for much, as long as you do your bits on the CDM, but you're not really that liable for anything. So that's
whereas
a massive
you're
positive.
on the hook for everything.
That allows you to sometimes maybe take on more than we can take on, because ultimately I'm overseeing everything. We can still take on multiple projects, but if you wanted to be a developer that was taking on the world, then you can just keep employing, and you could have there as.
But you wouldn't get this finish, I don't think, employing a main contractor, I don't think.
And that not trying to blow our own horn, but I do think the reason we're getting these finishes is because I care more than anybody else. Whereas the main contractors will care, and you will get some really good main contractors. I'd like to think when we were doing more work for clients, we were still doing these finishes because we cared. But ultimately, I do think we're getting this sort of stuff because we're in here.
Well, they've got a handful of other projects that they care about as well. And I suppose that's the thing, you care about just this, getting this over. At the end of the day, it's your money and the project's not theirs. So, next question then, networking. I know that we've spoken a lot about this, the pros and cons of networking. How are you finding the world of networking at the minute? Being so busy and everything else, and the quality of networking stuff? Because it's a topic that we bring up a lot.
I've done a lot of networking in the last...
Welcome to that club,
18 months, a couple of years or so. I think, I don't know, I often feel like it's a waste of time, but then when I actually analyse it, I've made some really good contacts from it, and some really, some people that will help me out in different ways, and I've made some good contacts. I've also wasted a lot of evenings. I don't know.
What's your top tip for people then who are looking? Because a lot of the people that are listening to this, they fall into one or two categories, which is either complete newbies who've never touched property before and are completely new into it, or super serious, sort of mega experienced developers. We seem to have this weird audience at either end.
But I think it breaks down into further categories. It's what are you trying to do? Are you trying to find projects, or are you trying to find investors? Because for me, that's probably the only thing you're falling into with developers, really, isn't it? It's those two categories. I push the social media a bit more now. I haven't recently because getting this over the line has just been pretty taxing. But
yeah, of course.
So the social media side of stuff, I would say I probably realistically get back more from social media than in-person networking.
Yeah, which is how I feel as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I think we've raised money with investors through social media, which is the big one, which is probably what we are trying to push. Ultimately, we do get deals, although, like I said, there's been a bit of a rough patch, but we've got off-market deals at the moment going on. So I think investors, I think social media is a good way. I think it's a good way to showcase what you're doing. It depends how you use social media. I use social media platforms solely as to go evidence-backed proof to show that we are doing what we're saying we're doing.
Well, it's an online portfolio, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. There's lots of people on there saying they're doing stuff but not really doing it, whereas we are actually showcasing it, but not just showing the finished products, it's showing the rough times as well, and how people want to see a story and understand who you are. You've got to build trust, haven't you? So I think that's really good as well. But from in person, I think it really comes down to the networking event. I've been to one where I turned up and there's 3 people there.
Yeah, it's rough.
And it sounds really horrible, but I got there and thought I could have been at home with my family, and I'm here now networking with 3 people who are just in completely different parts of the country, not even relevant. But then I've been to some, and I've met some other developers who have been amazing, and we've all been helping each other out and bouncing off each other. So it's one of those things. I think it's a bit of a, do I love networking? No. Is it a necessary evil? Probably is, I think, realistically. But I do think as well social media is the new platform that everyone is pushing on to. You can get, you can reach a wider audience, can't you?
Of course you can.
I think if you do networking, and you could do, because I think you do this bit, don't you? You actually do presentations, or
It's about trying to become pedestalized, I think. So the thing for me is I've always been to networking events where I've been the speaker, or we've been the host, or we've been a sponsor.
Yeah.
And for me, it's really difficult as a service provider, I find, going into a room of 70, 80 people and trying to network your way through the room, because by the time you're speaking with 3 people, they've forgotten who you are and everything else. Whereas if you do the talk, people are constantly thinking, oh yeah, I heard him speak and he's done this and he must be the expert. I mean, little do they know, but...
I think, but that's right though, right? If you're in a room of 70 people, you do a presentation and then done. Everybody knows who you are. And
straight away
if there's relevance
in one go,
they will come and find you, and then bang, you're not wasting any time. I've not done any presentations. I think I probably will in the next 6 months start to do some presentations.
Well, you've got this to talk about now, haven't you, as well? Which adds.
I think, but then the risk is, like you just said there, so you go to a networking event and there could be 70 people there, and you could get stuck with one person, the majority of it, or 2 or 3 people. And I don't know. I'm one of those guys. I can't just. You have to be quite.
You want a return
your time and move on to the next person. I'm not so much like that.
Return on time invested, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you can invest money in a project and you want a return on that money. Well, you invest in time. You want a return on that time, and spending it just with one person. They might be the best person in the world, but you need to hit.
Yeah, I think it's important to go to. If you do go to those networking events, is what's your purpose? Why are you actually going?
Yeah.
If you're to find an investor, then you need to work out a few selected questions that are going to work for you, and then on to the next, until you're pre-qualifying people, aren't you, by doing that? Yeah. So I don't know. I feel bad because I sit on the fence of it. I don't love it, but I do think it's necessary.
Yeah. Last question then.
Yeah.
Biggest lesson learned.
I feel like you asked me this before. And
I do. Well, every time.
I just feel like.
I know it makes editing a dream.
Biggest lesson learned.
Can I put one into your mind?
I'd love.
And we might have to edit it out.
You go.
About loyalty.
Yeah.
And I think we should talk about that, because I think it is key, and I think for people listening to this, I think it would.
Yeah, I think that's a tricky one to answer, because it's not. I'm very much a person who is a loyal person when it comes to business.
Incredibly so.
I personally believe that anybody that has, the fact that me and you are, still working together.
Well, this is okay.
I think that it's because you've helped me out on different things, and you've allowed our business to grow. So
the thing is as well, we have phone calls at stupid hours. I mean,
we
were talking at 1 a.m. the other morning.
But this is it. There'll be points where I think if someone that's shown me that loyalty, I want to show them back. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Prime example of that is like you're so easy to get hold of in terms of I can ping you stuff and you'll be jumping it straight away. Because that is another factor, right? Is I spend months looking at deals, all the time looking at stuff, and I need to qualify that pretty quickly. In my book, I might be like, this works, what do you think, ping over to you? You might be like, not happening. I need to know that quite quickly.
Yeah,
I don't want to
absolutely.
be dealing with someone that goes, you can speak to me in the next 2 weeks, or I'm busy this week. It doesn't work. But I think back to the loyalty is, I want to show as much loyalty as possible, because I think that's quite rare nowadays. There's not lots of people show loyalty, whereas for me...
There's very little, yeah.
I think there is an angle where I want to show that loyalty, but at the same time, if people aren't looking after us, then that loyalty drops, right? Like I think sometimes I can be a bit guilty of going, I'm just going to be loyal all the time, but actually when you look from a business perspective, that's not reflected from them to you.
Yeah.
So I think, the loyalty angle, what I've learned from it is be loyal, but only where it's financially viable to a certain extent. That makes it sound bad actually saying that. It's like only be loyal when you can make money on it. But I think
no, it's not that.
Just
it's be loyal when it makes business. I get what you mean. It's be loyal when it is financially viable in the sense of they're not screwing you out of tens of thousands of pounds.
Yeah, exactly that. So I think that's not necessarily this deal's talking about, but I think for a while, me and you have often been...
It's something we bounce about, and I think it's just a nice thing to... Because I think a lot of people can get dragged, especially in the education space, everything else. Everyone becomes kind of fiercely loyal for the wrong reasons. And I feel like almost you just need to be loyal to the right people at the right time for the right reasons, really.
Yeah, and I think with the education space as well, because that is rife, isn't it, at the moment in terms of pushing it. I think it's good. I think when you actually look at the point of it, it makes complete sense. The idea is to educate people to stop losing money, because when you step into this realm, there's so much money that can be lost in. Money can be made, good money can be made, but a lot of money can be lost as well.
Well, there's so much that a course doesn't teach you. I mean, we talk about the float that you had to put into this business to make sure that it could essentially cover its own cash flow. But that isn't taught on any courses. You talk about the connections with the utilities. That's not taught on any courses. You talk about the finishing touches. Very rarely taught on courses.
I also think as well, it's the time frame that bothers me about a lot of courses, not all courses. It sounds like I'm now about to sell a course. I'm not going to join my course. The thing that bothers me is how people paint such an easy picture of developing. And they just go, you can make all of this money, 6 figures, blah, 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 all this stuff. And you can do it, but it's really, really intense. And it's quite difficult times, and you have to put a lot of effort into it. And my big thing would say to people getting into this space through education is, if you think you're going to smash it in a year or so, you want to triple it or so, like it takes time. It takes time to be seen as a bit of an actual developer, to get deals sent to you, to actually raise finance, to get lenders to trust you. It takes time, and I think there's too many get-rich-quick schemes out there. Or it seems like it. It's like, you can make this money this time. I'm like,
we think it's probably taken you 10 years to become an overnight success. So it's
20. I've been developing 20 years.
20 years. So it's crazy to think that by going to a 3-day course that you could know how to do all this. And that, I think, is the danger of the education space, is it does paint a false picture of how easy and how quick all of this can be done. And
if we're going to be brutally honest about it, there's a lot of unhappy people with their situation, isn't there? Or circumstances, or financially struggling, right? So like someone selling a course going, it's going to be really tough for like 5-10 years. And then you'll break through. That isn't going to sell a course. But if someone's saying that you could be financially free in 12 months, or you can earn 6 figures just by doing this.
Well, people want that
none of your own money, blah, 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 all of that thing's the buzzword, isn't it? Everybody loves putting down. But it's so much more than that.
Well, it's the immediate dopamine hit, isn't it? It's the constant. That's why we scroll our phones. That's why we go on social media. That's why we do gaming, all that stuff, because it's literally that immediate dopamine hit that makes you forget that the world is a shit place.
Well, this is it. And
that's what the courses do.
Going on the struggles again, saying 20 years, nearly 20 years ago now, we bought a barn conversion, and me and my brother were living in a pig shed for a year while we converted it. Like, it's those things that you don't see that on a course, and you don't probably have to do it. We just love pig sheds, but you don't have to do it. But it's that kind of the grit that people don't see behind it. I think everybody sees this. I took this and turned it into this and made loads of money. I'm like, they've just missed out about 12 months of a hell of a lot of stress. But
what you do when your plasterer doesn't turn up, what you do when your electrician doesn't turn up, what you do when your plumber doesn't turn up. What happens
when you do when the property sits on the market for 5 months not selling? It's those bits, isn't
that's the scarier bit, because the amount of people who end up in bankruptcies and insolvencies and everything else because property isn't selling, because they've poured life savings or other people's money into it.
It's
a dangerous thing. We're not really selling.
I was going to say, this podcast is to put people off developing, right? That's the whole point of it. No, but I just trying to pull this back to a positive. I just think that's the only thing I say when it comes down to the educating is that it's as long as people are resilient and they're people prepared, it's going to take time and they have that grit. They should be successful in it. Yeah, definitely. But just don't bite off more than you can chew. That would be my thing. Would be start small and work your way up.
There you go. Big lesson learned.
And if you want to sign up to my course, it's
mate, it's been an absolute pleasure again to come and spend.
Buddy. Do you want to have a walk around the new builds as well?
We'll have a walk around. We'll get a few photos, and then what I'll do is I'll overlay them a little bit at the end, and then people who are listening now head over to YouTube. Obviously, you'll be able to see all the photos and everything else. Have a watch back of the previous episodes as well, because I think it's really important to see kind of the changes that have been made. And just how much work has gone into all of this is bonkers. So yeah, watch over the last 3 parts. Other than that, thank you very much, mate. We'll catch you on the next one.
Always a pleasure.
Cheers for listening, everyone. Catch you on the next one.